Watch as a Gazan migrant threatens to kill Brits while blaming Britain for the world's problems.
The problem in the world, they're coming from British people.
British.
And British government, yes.
There we go. Britain,
The
listen
problem
to
in
this
the
lovely
world,
European Gazan
Yes.
who's saying the problems in the world come from British.
When I finish Israel, I gonna coming British. I gonna also more British. We are coming. We are Islam, you know.
The security implications of taking migrants from Gaza has come sharply into focus after a Palestinian student given a spot at France's top university, Sciences Po, had her visa revoked for an anti-Semitic tirade. Noura Tallah had retweeted speeches from Hitler, called for the death of Jews and spread messages inciting the killing of Israeli hostages. The French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot blamed the fiasco on Israel's poor vetting and ordered the woman to leave French soil.
Cette jeune femme n'a pas sa place à Sciences Po, elle a d'ailleurs été désinscrite. Elle n'a pas sa place en France, elle doit quitter le territoire national.
Quitter le territoire national, mais pour aller où? Vous n'allez pas l'expulser à Gaza?
Elle doit quitter le territoire national, elle n'a pas sa place en France.
Mais très concrètement, Jean-Noël Barrot, on ne peut pas expulser quelqu'un dans une zone de guerre.
Elle doit quitter la France et ça fait partie des discussions qui sont en cours.
Despite widespread fear over the radicalisation of Gazans, Labour's Yvette Cooper announced some would be brought to Britain for medical treatment, and students would be given fully funded scholarships at British universities. The £9,535 tuition fee British students must pay each year to study will be waived for the successful Gazans at taxpayer expense. It's unclear whether their living costs will also be covered.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Finally, Mr. Speaker, let me update the House on the continued legal and controlled support that we will provide for those facing conflict and persecution. We will continue to do our bit to support Ukraine, extending the Ukraine Permission Extension Scheme by a further 24 months, with further details to be set out in due course. We're also taking immediate action to rescue children who have been seriously injured in the horrendous onslaught on civilians in Gaza so they can get the health treatment they need. And the Foreign Secretary will update the House shortly on the progress to get those children out. I can confirm that the Home Office has put in place systems to issue expedited visas with biometric checks conducted prior to arrival for children and their immediate accompanying family members. And we have done the same for all the Chevening scholars and are in the process of doing so now for the next group of students from Gaza who have been awarded fully funded scholarships and places at UK universities so they can start their studies in autumn this year. And later this year, we will set out plans to establish a permanent framework for refugee students to come study in the UK so we can help more talented young people fleeing war and persecution to find a better future, alongside capped and managed ways for refugees to work here in the UK. Mr. Speaker, this government is determined to fix every aspect of the broken system we inherited and to restore the confidence of the British people. Solving problems, not exploiting them. A serious and comprehensive plan, not fantasy claims based on sums that don't add up or gimmicks that failed.
The Labour government has been urged to learn from the experiences of other countries as a cautionary tale. Denmark followed 321 Palestinians they welcomed into their country between 1992 and 2019. By the end of the period, they found 204 of those had been convicted of a crime, 71 of whom were jailed, and 176 of them became dependent on welfare benefits. Of their children, 337 were convicted of a crime, 132 were jailed, and 372 became dependent on benefits. The former Justice Minister Hans Engel, reflecting in 2019 on the scheme, admitted, quote, "These asylum seekers should not have been let in." In 2023, Danish MEP Peter Kofod advised Britain not to follow Denmark's lead.
I would say no. That would be completely insane. I mean, just look into the Danish statistics. It's all public. You can go to Google. You can see the numbers. It has been a completely disaster in Denmark. And I believe the politicians back then made the worst investment ever for the Danish future. Well, if you compare these group of people to the Danish citizens, you would see that they are way more criminals than the Danish population in general, first of all. But the thing is, those people were not even real refugees. I mean, when many of them were granted asylum seeking, they decided to go back to their own country to celebrate. So it's not even real refugees as we know them. So I would very much advise you to stop taking those people. It will give you problems for generations, honestly.
So just say that to me again. So you granted asylum to a load of Palestinian refugees who then went back to Gaza
to celebrate,
and then came back to Denmark.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That possibly should have set alarm bells ringing, I suppose. But was there a big push? Was there a big push from the Danish public? You know, people who thought they were doing a nice thing, people who thought they were doing the right thing initially. Presumably, you were under a lot of pressure.
This was a case where the government, the authorities were under huge pressure.
Brits themselves are clear they want migration to fall, not increase. And it begs the question why a Labour government suffering in the polls would go so drastically against public opinion. Nick Dunning, GB News.